I have finally arrived at the Aldine shipyard in my sloop of the desert and my sloop. Here is my sloop, and they painted my name on the cradle too. That's kind of cool. So yeah, they put a white cover on it. I think they had run out of the blue. Oh wow, they even put a nice label on there. Okay. Let's see, there's my... Huh. Okay, fine. Looks intact. And the prop is still on here, good. Ooh. I guess I'm gonna have to lube this up. So I took my Leatherman and I cut out that big smile there in the cover, because this all comes off and gets thrown away. And I opened up the door there. So and I got Rick's little giant ladder. So up I go. Let me get this closer. Okay. And it's another brisk day, but under the cover here it's nice and warm, or it's a little bit warmer. So she looks okay. So you can see how the cover just goes over the boom here, and then they got a little framework that they set up at the bow, and then another little thing here to hold up the boom. So alright, so I got the shrink wrap off. That was a job, and that's so much plastic. I'll kind of recount the amount later. I still got to cut off some of these straps, and one of the things they did was they took the topping lift off of the end of the boom, and they tied it up here to the you know, so it's parallel to the forestay, because they had, you know, for the mast, and I mean there's still some tape on here, but like they had shrink wrap, like, you know, they had it all taped and they had it all like sealed to keep the water out. And you know, there's half of it down there, half of the shrink wrap down there, and then there's the other half down there. And so to try to reduce the number of things that they have to seal, they just sort of bundled this with the head stay. But this is the topping lift, and so they just brought it around to port here. See, because it goes around the outside of the shrouds. Hey, look, and my anemometer's spinning. That's cool. So I gotta take the topping lift back over and tie it to the end of the boom before I take down that other post. Otherwise the boom will just lay down in the cockpit. So yeah, here she is. She stayed pretty clean. There's some moss. There's some moss back here, I think, where the water had pooled. So I'll scrub that off. And one of the jobs I'm going to have to do is get this old varnish off of here and just you know, oil the teak basically. Because I mean the varnish, I don't know, I don't want to have to maintain that, and I don't like varnish teak. I like it to be natural. I'll show you a boat that has the natural external teak, and it looks really nice. So but yeah, the rig's still up happily. But yeah, let me get the topping lift on. Yeah, I don't know why they couldn't have just like tied it to the backstay here, but whatever. All right, so I got the topping lift back on. So now I was able to take that post down. I just got a couple more of these things to deal with. And then this is the door, so we can get in and out like during the winter. Just to kind of give you an idea of what I just tore off of here. This boat next to mine, you see every you know, the idea of the shrink wrap is to create a watertight cover so water can't get in there and freeze and stuff. And so this is akin to what I had to remove from my boat, you know, and I had to use like a box cutter to because I mean this is really, you know, taped on here, and so I had to go along and like slice, because they kind of like have a big seam there. So, and you can't separate the tape from the shrink wrap material. It's a mess, you know. And again, it's single use, you can't reuse it, and it's just it's like so much plastic. It's, you know, and you can see it over here too, right? You know, they tape it all together. You can't undo it without, I mean, I tried to peel tape off, but it like the adhesive is so strong that, I mean, you just have to cut it, and then you can't reuse it. So yeah, and I'll recount all that later. So I laid out all this. These are the two main pieces of the shrink wrap cover, you know. And so that's a lot of plastic that, like, you know, what do you do with it? They said, somebody said, well, at the marina, they said, well, you know, we're not a big enough marina for them to like come and take it away for recycling. It's like, wait, why does it matter? They take away your trash, you know, they take away other stuff. So I mean, this is a hell of a lot of plastic. You know, you can kind of get an idea of the scale. There's my van in the background, you know. I mean, this whole piece is like, you know, 30 feet by 15, 16 or something. I mean, it's in two pieces because, you know, so here's where the bow, this part was around the bow. Oh yeah, the wind's just playing hell with it now. Oh, nice. Okay, great, thank you. And this part was wrapped around the mast, and then I had to cut it, you know, to get that off, and then you know, here's some of the, like, this plastic stuff that, like, where they tie it around the hull to hold it in place. And there's a bunch of other small little bits, you know, that came off of it too. But that is more plastic than my conscience really wants to contemplate, you know, being used just once. So yeah, so I gotta fold it up now. I mean, I basically just stuffed it all in the back of the van. You know, so I gotta fold it up so at least it doesn't take as much space. Anyway, just to give you an idea of what of the quantity of the stuff. All right, so there, I kind of bricked them up like I would a couple of sails. So it doesn't seem like as much when they're compacted like that, but still, you know, this is like probably, I don't know, at least 10 pounds of plastic altogether. That's quite a bit. So I just talked to a friend of mine who said I should call the Michigan Department of Natural Resources, and they might have a suggestion for how to take this somewhere to be recycled, and then maybe I can convey that information to the boatyard so they can tell people where to take theirs, or maybe arrange something where it can be picked up from people, you know, from the boatyard. I don't know. Every person you talk to seems to tell you something different, right? All right, so there it is.